This is an NBC News special report.
And we are coming on the air with a historic moment in American space travel. I'm Gotti Schwartz, and any moment now, the 4 astronauts of the Artemis 2 mission are about to return to Earth, and their 10-day journey took them further from our planet than any human has ever traveled. A record-breaking 252,000 miles, and right now they are minutes away from re-entering the Earth's atmosphere before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego, where there is a special recovery team and divers waiting right now to retrieve them. From there, they'll be taken by helicopter to a U.S. Navy ship for medical evaluation. And during their time in space, this crew saw parts of the far side of the moon that no one has seen before. Today's splashdown set to mark the end of a mission that has been decades in the making and the beginning of NASA's plans to return to the moon itself. Let's bring in NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello. Tom, walk us through what we can expect on this historic day.
We are right now getting to the point where Orion, which is right now traveling at about 17,000 miles per hour, as I look down at my app on my phone, it is going to separate out from the service module. And when that happens, the service module will break away. Nobody's on the service module. And the astronauts inside the crew module then will begin heading towards the Earth. They will do so at this angle, at this pitch, and they will come in and hit the atmosphere at 400,000 feet. And when they do that, Gotti, they're going to come in at 25,000 miles per hour, just under it. That's Mach 33, 33 times the speed of sound. It's not the absolute fastest that any spacecraft has come in, but it's pretty darn fast. And then, of course, the issue is, as they then hit that plasma, they're going to lose comms. Total radio blackout for roughly 6 minutes. That's expected. It's because the plasma from their interface literally disrupts the radio signals. They expect that they will come out on the other side just fine. That's normal. And then they will splash down. The parachutes deploying at 22,000 feet, slowing the spacecraft from 25,000 miles per hour down to a very gentle, soft landing in the Pacific at about 19 miles per hour. And mark right now, we are exactly 1 minute away from separation, as I mentioned, Gotti, separation between the crew module and the service module, and that's going to then set Orion on its way free from the service module and on its way on. It's already on re-entry, of course, but it really hits the atmosphere once it's in once it's on its own trajectory.
Yeah, we're seconds away from seeing that all-important heat shield. And, Tom, I know that you're going to be monitoring the NASA feed, so feel free to jump in, interrupt at any moment, and give us the update, or maybe we'll listen live to NASA. But
30
again,
seconds, more or less,
we're
Gotti.
seeing right...
Roughly 30 seconds to separation if we want to just keep an ear on NASA as well.
And the shot that we have right now, as I understand it, Tom, the top part of the capsule is going to separate from that white part below NASA that we see right there, right? That
yeah,
the NASA is part of the module that's going to break apart, and then that disintegrates in the atmosphere. Is that correct?
There it goes.
Look, oh, there
crew
it goes.
Module just
wow.
broke free.
Oh,
can I suggest we dip into NASA comms as well?
Momentarily.
There we go.
Houston, good stuff on board.
Wow.
Houston copies and concurs.
The European service module now separated from Integrity. A job well done.
A reminder, Integrity is the name
no
given to the Orion spaceship.
Cautions. Those are SM related, not applicable.
Integrity.
That is a beautiful shot.
That was incredible. And, you know, to see that heat shield, we just saw a glimpse of it, and yet there has been so much talk over the heat shield because of Artemis 1 and some issues with the heat shield during Artemis 1, and now we are in Artemis 2, and I think people assume that maybe there might be some overlap. But, Tom, the entry, the angle of attack, it's different this time, right?
It is different. Pardon me if I pause when I'm listening as well in the other ear to NASA Mission Control. By the way, the female voice you hear is the sole voice communicating with the astronauts. The male voice.
Until the rays burn. Again, this is the final tweaking of the orientation of Integrity. to put it in the right angle, if you will, the angle of attack that it will fly in during its entrance into the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah. That's the voice
Entry
of Rob
interface
Nadius, the voice of NASA for all of us who are listening, and the female voice is the capsule communicator, the only voice that the astronauts hear. And by the way, I would just tell you that the coat on the bottom here is called AV coat. It is supposed to ablate the heat, literally cause it to just kind of dissipate immediately and actually break up, if you will. And this is... on Artemis 1, they have more scarring and burning than they wanted to on the bottom, on the heat shield. So as a result, they've changed the angle of descent. It's going to come in a little bit harder and faster, but it will be in the heat for a shorter period of time, Gotti.
And Tom, as we're listening to those voices from NASA, we do have a voice from NASA. Let's bring in current Deputy Director of NASA's Flight Operations Directorate, astronaut Kjell Lindgren. Kjell, thank you so much for being with us. I mean, what a crew, the very best of us. It seems like some of their descriptions were just poetry. How is NASA feeling about the success of the mission so far?
Hey, Gotti, thank you so much for letting me join you all. We are so excited about this mission, starting with an incredible launch 10 days ago, an emotional trip around the backside of the moon, and here we are. We just saw the command module separate from the service module, and this crew is committed to that trip home and splashdown in just a few minutes. We are so proud of the team that has been preparing for this mission for decades. This team that we have in mission control and in the engineering room, and this crew that we have on board.
We were just talking about the heat shield. We got that glimpse of the heat shield, and Tom was describing the AV coat on the back side here, the side that needs to work perfectly as it now makes its approach. But how are you all feeling about the heat shielding going into this?
Yeah, we are very confident. You know, this is what we do. We tested the heat shield on Artemis 1. We learned more about it and what implications that had for the Artemis 2 heat shield. We worked with our engineering team, our flight operations team, flight dynamics team to develop an entry profile that would be well within the capabilities of this heat shield. And we think it's going to do a great job of protecting the crew from the heat during re-entry as it goes through the atmosphere, and setting them up for parachute opening and a soft landing in the Pacific.
And I know you're very, very close to these astronauts. You're very close to this mission. I do want to ask, what's the part of this mission so far that has brought the biggest smile to your face?
Well, you're absolutely right. Their descriptions of the moon were just absolute poetry. And two of the astronauts, so the commander, Reed Weissman, and Jerry Hansen, are classmates of mine. And I have very clear memories of going out on geology field trips with them during our astronaut candidate training. That's where we started learning the language of geology, and it's given them the tools, in addition to the training that they're doing right now, to be able to take that human experience, those human observations, and to communicate that back to our teams, science teams and flight control teams back here on Earth. These are the first steps, the very first important steps for Artemis 3 and then Artemis 4 and 5, when we return to the surface of the moon and continue this amazing exploration of the lunar surface and universe beyond.
Yeah. The geology is going to be front and center when we build those lunar bases. Thank you so very much for joining us. And I also want to bring in a panel of space experts that we've got. With me here in the studio is former NASA astronaut Steve Robinson, who flew 4 space shuttle missions. We also have NASA astronaut Drew Feustel, who spent a total of 226 days in space on his 3 flights. Wendy Lawrence is a former NASA astronaut. She's a veteran of 4 space flights, logged more than 1,200 hours in space. Thank you all for being with us. And just to pick up the heat shielding conversation, Steve, you here, I mean, I've been following you around all day, asking you all kinds of questions. And the way that you were describing the skipping motion, the skipping that was done by Artemis 1 and the angle of attack, much more direct for this mission. If you could kind of walk us through what's the difference between Artemis 1 and Artemis 2.
With Artemis 1, there was a skip entry, so they came into the top of the atmosphere, which is not a hard line. It's kind of a fuzzy top. Come in, build up some actual lift, and it comes back out of the atmosphere, and that allows you to change your downrange entry location. It gives you flexibility and options for that. But what happened was it generated some char layer, and that built up gases on the inside of the heat shield. And as it came back out of the atmosphere, that allowed the gases to still build up and actually pop off some of the heat shield from trapped gas. Now, with this one, we're not going to do a skip entry. We're going to come into the atmosphere a little bit more steeply and not come back out. The charring that we're talking about is called ablation. It's sort of like burning it. You know, we know what charring is, but what it does is it makes a porous surface for the trapped gas to come out. So that's why we think this is a much safer entry.
Fascinating. We're looking at those images there. We've got a little model here. So if I understand this correctly, it skipped up, then it built up those gases, and when it came down, that's when the extra damage happened, right? But this is supposed to be damaged. It's just supposed to be damaged in a controlled way. So now it's coming straight in like this, and it will dissipate evenly.
It's a very small difference, actually, but yes, the charring should be more porous and let the gas escape, and so it won't pop off. But let's be safety-minded here and think about Artemis 1. Even though it lost some more of the heat shield than was expected, it completely kept the temperature on the spacecraft within limits, so it would have been absolutely safe for a person. So
they still would have been, sitting there in 75-degree weather inside of the capsule. And Stephen, let's go to Tom Costello real fast. I think we've got an update from NASA. Tom, what can you tell us?
Gotti, they are right now about to go to their 180-degree maneuver. So they're coming in like this, 180-degree. They'll pitch up, and they'll come in like this. And when they pitch up at a 180-degree rotation, they expect a 1-minute loss of comms. That is not the 6-minute loss of comms that they will experience. The peak heating on this vehicle, when they hit 5,000 degrees, that is expected to be at roughly, let me look at my notes, we're looking at roughly at 7:54:52 East Coast time. 7:54:52 East Coast time, peak heating, 5,000 degrees on the vehicle, and then they will also be losing their comms for 6 minutes. We will get the comms back at 7:59:55. 7:59:55. So again, they enter the Earth's atmosphere at 7:53 Eastern time, 7:54:52, peak heating, loss of signal until 7:59:55. So they're right now in that stage where they're doing the 180 to come in with their heat shield up.
A plasma time, 6 minutes. Incredible. I want to bring in Drew here. Drew, what is it like to be surrounded by plasma in space or in the atmosphere?
Yeah, hey, Gaddy, nice to see you, and shout out to Steve and Wendy as well. It's great to see them on the show. We're all colleagues. What's it like? It's a little bit like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You know, you're coming back to Earth, and you're coming back in a hurry. These guys are slowing down from Mach 33 to like 19 miles an hour before the water. And so that's a lot of deceleration. And once you hit that atmosphere, all the particles in the air start to race around the side of the spacecraft, and they get super hot, up to 5,000 degrees in this case, and then they start to burn essentially. So you're surrounded by flames, and we've all seen it on every vehicle that comes back out of orbit to Earth. Experiences that plasma buildup and that flame covering the windows and the whole side of the spacecraft. It's pretty crazy.
And yet, Wendy, when you're sitting there in pressurized suits, what does that feel like?
Well, it sounds like the Orion suit is much more comfortable than the suit that Steve and I wore in our last mission. That was not a custom-fit suit. So you do your best to get the suit on, adjust your harness. And when we came back on the orbiter, the shuttle orbiter, we were actually wearing parachutes. So you do your best. It's not that much of a comfortable ride. Now, for the Orion crew, they're coming back in a different configuration because they're actually lying on their backs. They're in a recumbent position. When we returned on the orbiter, it was like landing an airplane. We were upright. Drew, I think you came back in a Soyuz, so you were recumbent as well. That's a better position for the body to handle the up to 4 Gs that the Orion crew is going to experience.
Yeah, and I think we've got another update from Tom Costello that we'll bring back in here. Tom, what can you tell us?
They're going into the 180 roll right about now. Gotti, you're looking out the window of the spaceship. And as they hit, as you know, as they hit the atmosphere, it's going to get awfully hot outside with that plasma interruption and the loss of comms pretty quickly. So again, at 400,000 feet, at 7:53 is when they will actually hit the atmosphere. Look at that shot.
Reflection of one of the crew members in the window.
Guys, this is 21st century TV. You're looking at
in the Pacific. The weather conditions
amazing
remain
images.
go. Just a few clouds, some scattered clouds. Winds at 10 knots. Wave heights just about 4 feet. A gentle day in the Pacific for the homecoming of Integrity's astronauts.
And as we watch the capsule roll there, Steve, I'm reminded of a conversation we were having a little bit earlier. A ballistic reentry. It is a plan B, and yet there is a plan B for something as incredible as reentry into Earth's atmosphere. We've got this little model here. If I understand it correctly, the ballistic reentry would use some of those thrusters, and here's Earth. Here comes the capsule, and if for some reason something went wrong and they needed to drop faster, they could do that, but they would basically start spinning like a top, and that would force them down more quickly, right?
Yeah, may I borrow your space capsule, please? I have to say, Gotti made this space capsule today.
That's human ingenuity, not its finest.
I was very impressed. For the normal, you would think a capsule would come in like a rock, but it doesn't really. It actually has a little bit of lift. There's a little bit of force as it comes down into the atmosphere this way, which makes its trajectory a little more gentle. If you had to, you could just spin it like a football. And when it's spun like a football, it's very stable along this axis. It's called spin stabilization. But it doesn't have that lift vector anymore because it's spinning the whole time. And it just comes down at a much steeper, higher G entry, but it's still safe. It's just higher G. So it's everything we try to do, we always try to have some sort of backup plan. Here's your space.
Thank you so much. Now astronaut hands have touched my space capsule here. Tom Costello, you've got an update for us, right?
Commander Reed Weissman just reported they are now configured for re-entry, and as you can look out the window with the reflection of the astronauts there in the window as well, you can see that they're getting closer and closer to the Earth's atmosphere. Let me give you a real-time check on speed, Gotti. They're currently at 23,000 miles per hour. Again, their top speed will be 24.5, more or less. And at this minute, they're 635 miles away from Earth. So they are moving fast here.
At that point, will be 1,701 nautical miles.
Wow.
Yeah, the total
Tom,
miles on this mission, total miles traveled is nearly 700,000. So, of course, we mentioned it's 252,000 miles to the moon and back. Keep in mind that it's some elliptical orbits around the Earth. So total miles traveled, almost 700,000.
Some 24 seconds after entry interface.
Listen here to mission control as they are communicating here.
During a 6-minute blackout period, when a plasma shield will build up around the spacecraft due to the ionization, due to heating effects. And Flight Dynamics has just confirmed we will have a blackout period of exactly 6 minutes in duration. And once again, that's due to the fact that a plasma buildup around the vehicle will prevent communications and data, so we will not be able to talk to the crew members at that time, nor will we receive data here in the flight control room.
Houston, everything's looking good on board. Just confirm no pre-EI downloads.
Houston concurs.
That blackout period to begin at 6:53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time, and again will last about 6 minutes in duration.
We're about 4 minutes from that blackout time. Drew, if you're still with us here, I do want to ask, there are those moments in space where all of a sudden you lose communication with the ground, with Earth. What are those moments like?
Sometimes those moments are okay. We spend a lot of time talking to ground and, trusting in the system and knowing the vehicle is headed in the right direction, which the crew does know at this point. And Mission Control has already confirmed the trajectory looks good. For the crew, it's just a known condition, something we have to, work through. But in terms of the silence, that's okay. It's a good time to tag up with your crewmates and get a little break and sort of take it all in while you're up there in silence.
Yeah, taking in that view in silence must be quite something. Stephen, what do you remember from up there?
Well, for Blackouts, you get to say things to your crewmates that you wouldn't want Mission Control to hear. And then you realize they're taping it anyway on board.
Northeast across the Pacific Ocean, 3 minutes from entry interface.
Here's Rob Navius. Yeah, about 3 minutes to entry interface. And again, that's when the capsule starts feeling the effects of the top of the atmosphere. They don't hit it. You sort of slowly slide into it. But quite quickly, it builds up a plasma sheath, which is basically an electrically charged gas around the spacecraft. And through the windows, that plasma turns all kinds of colors. It's just amazing. Starts out very kind of a light yellow, and as they get deeper into the atmosphere and gets denser, it turns all the way through orange into kind of a deep red. They're going to come back with stories about what it looked like through those windows.
And Wendy, one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the deep trust that happens at NASA, and it culminates with the astronaut experience. When you are entrusting your life to reach up into the heavens, you are trusting every engineer, anybody that has done any of the computations to get you to where you are. Talk to me a little bit about what that trust feels like on a moment like this when you're about to re-enter the atmosphere.
Well, Gaddy, that's really an excellent question, because oftentimes as astronauts, we would point out that we're kind of the tip of the iceberg. All the attention's focused on us. But there's this huge base of an iceberg. That's the team that supports us on the ground. And those folks are absolutely incredible. They're experts in everything that they do. And yes, we completely put our trust in them, and they earn it day in and day out. And without that trust, I don't think we would have the confidence to go in space. But we have the privilege of working with them on a daily basis. They train us. They teach us everything that we need to know. They make us practice everything just to make sure that we are completely ready. But yeah, without that team on the ground, none of this would be successful. So this is a great opportunity to recognize them as well.
1 minute until entry interface.
And speaking of the ground, we are so close to that re-entry. I do want to check in with NBC's Liz Kreutz. She's at the coast in San Diego. Liz, look, you were on boom patrol. If you hear a sonic boom at all, please interrupt and tell us boom, boom, and I want to know what it sounds like there in San Diego. But any booms so far?
No booms yet. We're 4:52. I was bringing up a clock with seconds on it, so I'm totally prepared here. But you can see here in San Diego all of the people that are gathering, trying to get a view. We're all trying to figure out exactly where we might see it. The Navy told us it's going to be coming down kind of from Hawaii south. So because of that, we're trying to look northwest. We'll see if we see it. It's 4:50. 3:17. I don't think we felt any boom. I don't think we felt anything. Do we see anything?
You're still 10 seconds
Everyone's
away.
Looking up.
You still got a few
10 seconds away.
Few seconds here.
Oh, my clock is wrong. My clock is wrong. You guys need to tell me when. We're looking. Everyone's watching.
Any moment now.
Entering the Earth's atmosphere. We're at
crossing the threshold.
34,800 feet per second.
And they have entered into the Earth's atmosphere. And you're starting to see flickers.
Wow.
13 minutes, 10 seconds.
Did you guys see anything?
You're seeing a glow there. Oh, look. Is this illumination?
Everyone's looking
plasma
up.
Here?
And there's your blackout.
And there's our blackout.
Everyone's looking up.
Liz, we've gone black.
This will be a 6-minute blackout period.
6-minute blackout period starting now. Joining us now from a splashdown watch party, Joe Little, a reporter with our NBC station in San Diego. Joe, everyone's listening right now for that sonic boom. I don't know if you're going to hear anything where you are, because it sounds like people are going pretty wild there.
We've ended our communications blackout. It'll be a 6-minute blackout period.
I lost network.
Hey, Joe, I'm not sure if you can hear us there. Let's go back to Liz Kreutz if we've got her. Liz, you're on the ground. We're on boom patrol at this point as we are now in that blackout. But Liz, any word there on the ground? Any sounds coming from the direction of the capsule?
Not yet. We heard the sound of a jet ski right at that moment. So we were like, wait, is that it? Unfortunately, it wasn't. But, I mean, it is so cool. You can just see it's so beautiful here in San Diego right now. This is bringing everybody together. Everybody, there's such a sense of community here with all of us just so excited about this historic moment, all anticipating whether we're going to see it, whether we're not. And even if we didn't, it's just cool to know that right here, just what, 50, 60 miles to the north of us here is where it's splashed, or could potentially soon splash down. And I'll also tell you, Gotti, that the reason we're here is right across this Navy base is where the astronauts will be flown when they are retrieved from the Orion capsule.
It's coming towards you hot there, Liz. Thank you so very much. Let's check in with Joe Little. He's a reporter at our NBC sister station in San Diego. Joe, it sounds like people are getting pretty excited there. What are you hearing?
Time to countdown. Gotti, it is a party here at San Diego's Air and Space Museum. I mean, my buddy behind the camera is going to zoom out and show you all these kids. This is a rock concert. We have young kids, we have their parents, we have their grandparents. And when we just had that first little countdown, the kids were chanting. It was so much fun. Who here is excited about Artemis 2? We're all looking up. There's an atrium here in this museum. We're all looking up, waiting to hear the sonic boom ourselves. But we are sitting here watching these people. This is a sellout crowd. The crowd, there's a line outside that's wrapped all the way around the building just to get in here for this moment to share with all these people. They're waiting, anticipating, just like all of you at home, just like you, Gotti. And I'm personally excited because this is just fun to be here with the people who are excited about what NASA's doing. Gotti?
Joe, shake as many of those little hands as you possibly can, because those are going to be future astronauts. Joe, thank you so much. We are getting closer to the big moment. Our coverage continues in just a few seconds.
Flight Dynamics reports that airborne assets in the vicinity of the splashdown zone do have a visual on integrity. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in our blackout period. Time to splash down, 9 minutes, 35 seconds. Multiple airborne assets as part of the recovery team all have visuals on integrity. And the WB-57 flying in the splashdown zone also has a visual. And the Navy helos also have visuals. We're still in the blackout period. Still do not have communications from the crew.
The excitement is building as the astronauts make their way back. Let's listen into NASA TV for a few moments here.
"90 seconds left in the blackout."
And what we're seeing here is a visualization. We are still in the blackout right now.
Communications from the crew. We should be out of the blackout period less than a minute from now.
In 1 minute, hopefully we'll hear that communication reestablished, but we've been hearing NASA talk about having a visual. So they do have a visual of the capsule as it is now making its approach to splashdown. Any moment now, we should hear.
I've seen capsules enter.
We are now processing data from integrity.
And Stephen, if I can bring you in here, you have seen... Hold on, let's see here.
It should just be coming out. They said they're getting data from Integrity.
Landing and support officer reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone.
I want to... And welcome to viewers just joining us. We are moments away from the historic splashdown for the Artemis 2 crew. 4 NASA astronauts about to return to Earth after a 10-day journey into deep space. This is the furthest humans have ever traveled, and the crew laid eyes on parts of the far side of the moon that have never been seen before. Let's bring back Tom Costello and former NASA astronauts Steve Robinson, Drew Feustel, and Wendy Lawrence. What we are hearing right now, I believe, is the reestablishment of communications with the capsule, right?
Yeah, it's ongoing right now, Gotti. Here's Comcheck right now. Let's listen in.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
Your trajectory is nominal, and your recovery teams have visual.
Oh, man.
Guidance looks good.
No action for the enabled internal camera controller fail.
Okay, we are 2 minutes away from splashdown.
Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, Integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home.
And it looks like this might be a visual shot from the ground, right, Tom? Is that what we're seeing there in the?
I think you're seeing it from the ship right there.
Infrared?
Feet now.
I think you've got the ship. This is it looks like the naval ship, and it is supposed to
19 nautical miles.
splash down at 8:07 p.m. Eastern time. Comms are reestablished. Everything about this has gone perfectly. And already the Navy helicopters are mobilized. Divers are ready to immediately jump in and assist the crew. They will inflate big rafts around the spacecraft, as they did back in the days of Apollo, and help the astronauts out onto what they call the front porch, really just an inflatable ring around the capsule.
Impact to the camera controller fail.
There it is.
No Cab 1 views of the chute.
That. Wow, that tiny dot is 4 humans hurling through our atmosphere.
We need the chutes
Such
to
an
work now.
incredible speed, and
a good view of
now
Integrity.
cleared that
Time to
atmosphere.
splash down 4.5 minutes.
8:03:22 Eastern time. We need is when the chutes will begin deploying. 8:03:22
And
is
a
when
view
the
of
chutes will begin
Integrity from
deploying.
the WB-57. We're at 50,000
moments
feet.
away from that. And we're going to see 2 sets of chutes, right, Dom?
In total, 11 chutes, but you're right, they come in sequences. The first will begin, look closely.
In 22 seconds.
Yeah. First, you'll see the chutes at the very top of the ship.
Pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison. And there go the first series of parachutes. And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drones out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up.
We copy. We see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
This is from a NASA airplane.
Beautiful
Perfect
shot.
descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet. Still on drogues. Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes. Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds. Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon. Passing through 1,000 feet.
Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth. And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation.
Back on Earth, bobbing there in the Pacific. Those astronauts once again feeling the effects of gravity. Stephen, we're watching this. I can see you getting
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me to say anything.
but you know, seeing these astronauts on the ground and seeing this new chapter before us when it comes to space exploration, what's going through your mind?
Yay, human race. Look at all the things that had to happen just right. You know, their entry window was about 1 degree. They had to hit that just perfectly, and everything we just saw had to happen perfectly. It did. They're back. They're safe.
The unofficial splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
This mission over, and yet so much more to come. Drew, I want to bring you in here. You know, one of the things that we hear throughout the day today, and it is one of the most delicious words in the English language, on a day like today, is nominal. And we heard that again and again and again. It seems like all systems will go throughout this entire mission, with maybe the exception of the first few days in the head up there. But as we see these boats, these fast boats, make their way to the capsule, what's going to happen next?
Well, recovery is next, right? The crew will stay in the capsule, and they'll slowly bring the big boat around. So this team is going in to make sure everything's stable. The chutes have come off, which they have. We saw them laying there, and that the crew looks okay on the inside. And then slowly that big boat's going to move in, and eventually they'll attach they'll connect the capsule to the big boat and Mirtha, and it'll actually pull it into its lower decks. And at that point, they'll extract the crew once they're safely on board. So a lot still has to happen. It takes a little while for them. I turn this spacecraft like an hour.
And Tom, I know you're listening to all this, and now all of a sudden we see a flurry of activity here on Earth. You see those boats racing out to that capsule. This is now the moment in which gravity has done its work, physics has done its work, and now it's back in human hands, getting these astronauts safely on board the ship, right?
Well, my very first reaction to all of this was, wow. I mean, congratulations yet again to the brain power and the engineering expertise at NASA. Beautifully done, beautifully executed from the moment they lifted off, and this touchdown, the splashdown right on the money could not have been any better. And so to your point, now we see those boats that are on their way to the capsule, and in those boats, we have Navy divers and Navy corpsmen, or diving medics, if you will, experts who are both involved in the recovery. They will immediately put an inflatable collar around the capsule, and then they will call that the front porch. Stand by. Let's listen.
Of the CMOOS system, the airbags are being inflated to maintain a stable one or upright configuration. And there's a good view from one of the naval helicopters hovering overhead.
Beautiful view. And what he was also making a point of is that already Reed Weissman has reported that all three...
They're all in excellent shape.
I was just going to say, they are reporting condition green. No, they're not nauseated. They could be, but green means they're in great shape. All of them in great shape. So the medics are going to check them out regardless. They're going to be hoisted up by helicopter, 2 helicopters. Each chopper will take 2 astronauts. They'll go to the ship.
SAR beacon and radio.
And on board the ship is Lieutenant Commander Wang, who is an ER doctor.
In 406, and we're powering the radio now. Go ahead.
And Lieutenant Commander Wang, Dr. Wang, will be in charge of their immediate evaluation.
The team is not seeing the signal. Your SAR radio uses the same antenna, so you may run into trouble with the radio.
Okay, copy. We are also powering up the sat phone now.
And assuming that they check out medically, and there's every reason to be that they will then be choppered over to San Diego Naval Air Station at Coronado, and then off to Houston on a plane tonight. So there's no rest for the galaxy travelers. They're immediately going to get on a plane and go to Houston.
In excellent shape.
Wow.
And we have 5 inflated...
And hopefully get some food in their bellies, some food that doesn't come from a squeeze pouch.
The recovery team...
Can I just make one more point, Gotti? I think the world has fallen in love with these 4 people. And having gotten to know them myself over the last couple of years, they are every bit exactly what you have seen on television and in our coverage for the last few weeks. Every one of them is kind, decent, smart, thoughtful, considerate, and damn good at their jobs. And I think you have seen over the last few weeks who they are, their character coming through in every interview. And honestly, having gotten to know them so well over the last few months and years, I've gotten choked up a number of times in the coverage. Because you start to think of them almost as friends, given how many times we've talked. But so I think the world can breathe a sigh of relief. They're all safe back on Mother Earth.
Yeah, that sigh of relief comes with the knowledge that they, as you've described it, that they are truly the best of us, and they are now safely here on Earth. Drew, I know that you've been in contact, up until this mission with some of the astronauts on board here. How would you describe this crew?
It's a historic flyby of the moon.
I would describe this crew as competent and capable and caring. I mean, this is they exemplify, what we train for as astronauts. They show expeditionary behavior and caring for themselves and for each other as a crew. And I think these individuals are exceptional together, and they show what we expect of all astronauts. All NASA astronauts come from a similar mold, and we train and work together to be able to execute missions with this level of excellence. And I think you've seen the culmination of all that work here over the last 10 days for this Artemis II crew.
And Wendy, I've been struck by the prose that has come from so high above us. It almost feels like we're listening to poets as they are on, near the lunar surface, and just to hear their words transmitted across this void and have it resonate with so many humans. This is something that has been your life's work, and yet, how has it made you feel?
I had the opportunity to be at the visitors complex at the Kennedy Space Center, and there were tens of thousands of people there, and they were just enthralled by listening to the crew. I think this moment has really resonated around the world. And yeah, this is a superb crew. Not only are they technically competent, but they have an amazing ability to communicate with us back on Earth. I am of the generation that remembers Apollo, and I'm wearing this blue jacket because of the impact the Apollo program had on me. And thanks to this crew, I think there are millions of kids around the world who are going to be similarly inspired.
Yeah, there is the Apollo generation. There is the Artemis generation. And Stephen, now they are almost one and the same. We are all part of this Artemis generation, right?
We are a spacefaring species, and I think something like this, it's great. It's great for NASA. It's great for all the contracting companies. It's great for the people. Great for the United States. But more than anything, it's great for us as a people. It's something that brings us together in times when there's a lot of bad news on the news. This is something that we can all be proud of, aspire to, and kids today, they know we can do this. So they have to be thinking, what can I do?
And then this is something that we have all contributed to in one way or another. Drew, and yet there is so much work to be done. I know that you're working with VAST right now, but there is an entire new frontier of space exploration, space industry to come. How do you see the next few years unfolding?
Well, I mean, this mission was very intentional to send humans back around the moon and open up the pathway for us to send additional crews for the Artemis 3 and 4 flights, and we have those capsules built already. NASA's working on that with contractors on the landers and, of course, a spacesuit. But, from my perspective, this is the start of a new era where we put humans on the moon to stay with operations and capability and habitats, and where we start to commercialize low Earth orbit space as the space station moves towards its retirement. We'll get into that new sector of space where we're talking about commercial and private industry as service providers, and then allowing NASA to start to explore the moon, which is what we've been trying to do for the last decade or two. We're finally back at it. It's really great to see this the start of a new chapter.
And Wendy, the big question, the question that so many people are asking when they come down from the awe that we have just seen is timeline. We have an ambitious timeline in front of us over the next 2 years, possibly back on the lunar surface for the beginning of what could be lunar bases or a lunar base. Do you think that's realistic?
I certainly hope it is, but it's not going to be realistic if the budget doesn't stay set and NASA doesn't get a continuous flow of money. That's the challenge, unfortunately, when you work for a government agency and you don't get the budget you request, or you don't get the budget that you requested on time. But yes, there's a lot of work to be done to be ready for the the Artemis 3 mission. Testing out the landers, that's going to be a big challenge. It sounds like the two contractors are ready to step up. They've submitted their revised proposals to NASA. With the success of the Artemis 2 mission, I think the astronaut office will feel comfortable in assigning the Artemis 3 crew, and that crew has got a lot of work ahead of them. I know that the Artemis 2 crew is going to give them an immense amount of knowledge. The crew will come back. They will be immersed in doing debriefs, but that transfer of knowledge will be critically important for the Artemis 3 crew.
Yeah. And that momentum, we'll see how far it carries. But I do want to bring in Tom Costello here as we watch these boats approach the capsule.
Yeah.
Much, much closer now. Tom, what are we seeing?
Let me just... Yeah, let's just continue to dip in and listen.
Concur. We haven't had anything come through.
So here's what's going on. The master diver will be the first to approach, as I understand. He or she, we believe it's a he, is in one of those Navy boats right there. They've had some issues with their USAR, search and rescue satellite phone, not working quite right.
And Houston, if you could relay to recovery that we hear them, but it does not appear as though they are hearing us.
This is not going to in any way impact their safety, but it's just a glitch as they coordinate with the master diver.
And Reed, just to confirm, you are pushing the PTT on the radio.
Oh, there's the technical support,
the commander
Tom.
of the space.
Yeah.
Now that would be embarrassing if the commander of the of Artemis is being told push the button to talk.
The communications between integrity and the recovery.
You know, in this moment, again, it sounds like things are complicated a little when it comes to the communication back and forth with those that are right next to them on the water. But Tom, let's just recap here because, you know, we have seen some issues. We saw some issues with the toilet. We saw some issues with Outlook, and now a little bit of issue with the radio, but nothing in terms of critical life support. And yet it does show you that there are always going to be some gremlins in some system, right?
Listen, as I continue to listen,
we are going to attempt to call you.
Okay, good. So here's the problem, guys. They don't want as I understand it, they don't want the divers touching that ship until they power down, and that's what they're dealing with right now.
We are pushing the push-to-talk, the two buttons on the left side of the radio below the up-down arrows. We are utilizing them. I'm rebooting the radio to see if we get good comms.
I mean, literally, they're talking about a handheld, portable, walkie-talkie type radio, sat phone,
and just to
sat
confirm,
radio.
You are seeing that you are touchdown plus 3030 for power, correct?
So that's it. The power, they want to power down before they get the Navy divers touching that ship. But to your point, it's such a minor glitch. It's, you know, after a flawless mission, it is such a minor glitch. Obviously, they're going to be fine. The toilet issues have been a real pain. You know what I'm saying?
We are,
it's been very difficult for them.
Mission control here. Call the crew on their satellite phone. This is all part of the coordination for the power down of the vehicle that will initiate the actual recovery operation. The first boats with the Navy divers on board are standing by, waiting to close in on Integrity to begin the process of erecting the large inflatable raft that's called the front porch that will be where the astronauts are extracted from so that they can have a few minutes to get their land legs back before they're hoisted aboard the Navy helicopters for the flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
Can I reply?
So finishing up just one sentence or two on the toilet issue. Listen, it's not we may laugh about it. It's no laughing matter when you're in space for 10 days and that thing's malfunctioning. And it's the dinner hour. So if you really want to know more, you can Google it. And there are lots of descriptions about what the problem has been. Thankfully, they're all back. But they clearly got to work that out before the next mission. It is, in fact, one of their higher priorities. They've got to work that out.
Please don't reply. NRD, very weak.
And Stephen, if I could bring you in here, it is such a wild juxtaposition to hear about little problems like this, and the juxtaposition of technology that we're seeing. Some of this technology dates back to Apollo. Some of this technology we've had since the 60s, and yet we also saw them with cell phones in their pockets, those iPhones. And now we see them talking on the radio. And so it's this weird time where you have very advanced technology, tried and true technology, and somewhat of a mix and a mess when it comes to what works and what doesn't work.
Oh, I don't think it's a mess at all. I think you count on the stuff that you know works, and you invent new things for things that you can't do with the old things. And this is exactly the approach for the space program. You know, and people say, oh, that looks just like Apollo. Didn't we do Apollo? Well, the reason that capsule looks like an Apollo capsule is because the physics of the atmosphere have not changed.
On OE1, is there any chance to tie us into NRD?
And Costello, Tom Costello, if you're still with us, it sounds like they're trying to patch into the comms that Mission Control has. Is that what's going on?
I think that's right, buddy. And the bottom line here is that obviously the commander of the ship needs to talk to the master diver to coordinate when he approaches, and they need to power down and make sure all of that's coordinated for obvious reasons. You don't want to take a chance of somebody being injured, especially a Navy diver right now.
While we stand by for the establishment of communications between Integrity and the recovery team that is basically standing by very close to the spacecraft, we're going to go to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha, where Megan Cruz is standing by with Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Yeah, just such an honor to be able to be here on the ship, to be able to share and experience this moment with everyone together. And of course, as you just said, yes, here with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. Administrator, how did you feel getting to witness this and seeing NASA at its best?
Oh, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm still at a loss for words. I mean, you know, like the childhood Jared right now can't believe what I just saw. I mean, almost been waiting my whole lifetime to see this, and then it's NASA Administrator. I just couldn't be more proud of the entire workforce. The years, the effort, the late nights, all the hard work from across the country that contributed to this incredible moment right now. And yeah, incredibly grateful too for our teams here on the John P. Murtha right now.
Yeah, look at them behind us here.
We've got everybody. Hey, what do you guys think? We just brought some astronauts back from the moon, huh? Unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah, so grateful to the Navy, the sailors that are here, the NASA teams. I mean, this is a joint effort that's on their way right now. These recovery forces are getting out to our Orion spacecraft, to Integrity, to get our astronauts back on the ship safely.
Yeah, and this is not just an accomplishment for NASA. This is an accomplishment for humanity. Again, a historic mission to the moon and back. How does this make you feel, and what do you hope people take away from this?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I think about the crew members that we've all had an opportunity to observe over the last 10 days, right? I mean, they're absolutely professional astronauts. I mean, wonderful communicators, almost poets. But then I think these were the ambassadors from humanity to the stars that we sent out there right now. And I can't imagine a better crew than the Artemis II crew that just completed a perfect mission right now. So, yes, it's a huge moment for everybody, right? I mean, we are back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon, bringing them back safely, and to set up for a series more. I mean, this is not a once-in-a-lifetime, which you hear sometimes around here. It's like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime. No, it's not. This is just the beginning. We are going to get back into doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building our base.
Yeah, are we going to build on the momentum for Artemis 3? I mean, it's just around the corner.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's, you know, part of me, too. I can't wait to get the crew off of Integrity right now, but also getting Integrity back on this ship so we can start taking a look at it, because all that data is so...
And you hear Jared Isaacman there, the NASA Administrator. Steve Robinson, Drew Feustel, Wendy Lawrence, thank you so much. What a testament to what humans can do with trust, with courage, collaboration, and integrity. Now to the moon and beyond. This concludes NBC News' special report. We're having continuing coverage ahead on our streaming network, NBC News Now, and online at NBCnews.com. I'm Gotti Schwartz, and thank you for watching.